Quiet on the set! Damn it.
Welcome to Rant Rave, the show that takes seemingly random topics and does the unthinkable with them. I am your host, Don Michaels. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. On today's episode, continuing on with the 48 special edition, we have Don and Renee Nottage of Velvet Butt Productions. Let's see if we can get them on satellite. Don and Renee, thanks for being on the show. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to sit down and chat with us.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yes, can't wait to answer your questions.
Can you guys share a little bit with me and the audience exactly who you are, what you do, your background, how long you've been involved in filmmaking and so forth?
Well, my career has been that of a still photographer. I was the chief photographer for the city of Cleveland for 30 and a half years, and I took an interest in still photography from age 5 on. Always had an interest in filmmaking, attempted some 8mm movies back in the day, I mean 8mm, not Super 8, and kind of fell by the wayside. In the meantime, Renee and I did a bunch of other stuff on stage and various things that are a long story. And then the technology allowed us to get back into filmmaking, and we dove headlong into it. And I had a background that I developed in special makeup effects, and Renee was always interested in writing, so that's where we're at. And Renee?
I also always had a love of films, and always had an interest in making films. Don's also an actor. He didn't say that, but
oh yeah,
he is also an actor. And as he said, we did some stuff on stage, some just kind of comedy sketch type stuff. But we couldn't do film, obviously, at the time because we just didn't have the funds or the access. And now that the technology is here, here we are.
We're diving in head first, and we have, and we will keep diving in.
How many 48s have you guys participated in? And have you won any awards?
We have participated in the 48 a total of 6 times. The first time we participated was in 2013. We did a film called Topside, which was shot on the USS Cod submarine memorial down near the Rock Hall. And it was grueling, shooting on a submarine that was open the whole day when we were shooting. And we were nominated for Best Score for that film. And at the time I said, I am never doing this again. They announced at the awards ceremony that they were going to be doing a horror 48 in October. So there we were, 3 months later, doing it again.
We had second thoughts about doing that, but then they rapidly faded, because we knew if we could shoot on the submarine while it was open to the public, with both ends of the submarine open and people coming through in the rain, that we could pretty much achieve anything. So in October of 2013, the first 48-hour horror film project happened, and we did that. Our film Uncivilized Servant won Best Writing, Best Ensemble Cast, Best Special Effects, Best Graphics, Best Sound Design, and Best Use of Weapon, and Best Film, by the way. We were the first winners of Best Film for the 48-hour horror project in Cleveland. And that was sort of a benchmark for us. Everything came together. We hit on all cylinders with that one. So, then
in July of 2014, our genre that we picked was silent film, which was completely unexpected, something we never would have thought we would get. And we did a film called Grounds for Elimination, which won Best Editing, Best Special Effects, Sound Design, and Audience Choice. We were also chosen as one of 5 teams to do a 48-hour promotion for New Amsterdam Vodka, featuring Cleveland with the tagline, Your Town. It's your town.
It's your town, yeah.
The film was called The In-Towners, and that was also grueling. We had 48 hours to shoot it, but they did let us do a few other things ahead of time that you can't do on the regular 48. It was well received, and we also were chosen as one of 5 films to be shown at the Ohio Independent Film Festival, and that was 2014.
So we shot the New Amsterdam Vodka film featuring Cleveland. A lot of things that are good about Cleveland, not negative things about Cleveland. We don't emphasize the things that were good about Cleveland, which is what we did, and we feel like we accomplished that. A lot of people loved it, and it's still out there available for viewing. In 2015, in July, we did The Final Guffaw. It was nominated for Best Film, Best Directing, Writing, Special Effects, and Lead Actress. We won runner-up Best Film, along with Audience Choice, Best Use of Character, Line, and Prop, and the 48-Hour Spirit Award. It was a comedy, a black comedy, a dark comedy, and we really enjoyed shooting that, as we have with all of our films, and we really had a blast. And again, it was a success for us, so we're pretty happy about that.
It was a great film.
Yeah.
And we decided to do the horror again in October of 2015. And we did a film called Sympathy, which was, again, dark but not a comedy. It was, for us, kind of a departure from what we usually do, which is comedy. And we were nominated for Best Directing, Best Editing, Best Writing, Best Musical Score, and Best Film. And we did win Audience Choice for Sympathy, which we were really proud of that film. It was one of our, we felt it was one of our best films.
We felt that we were kind of getting in a comedy, not rut because we're good at it, so, but we wanted to do something that was not the typical horror film. We wanted to do something that was psychological and had a little bit more depth to it. So we took that chance and we're really happy with it. So proud of Sympathy, very proud of Sympathy.
Wow, very interesting. Congratulations on all the awards. Have you guys encountered any obstacles along the way? Something that really stands out that sounds really funny and interesting?
Okay, as far as obstacles, pretty lucky. As far as obstacles, we've had some close calls, but no major obstacles. We had a near miss with some park rangers during Sympathy, during the found footage, which is the genre we pulled, portion of it, which involved a hacksaw and blood, and someone laying there getting killed, and someone with a gun pointing at the person, and things like that. But I was able to distract them because I played dumb with my phone. That I was shooting nice fall pictures, and they thought, what a nerd, and they kept going. So we narrowly averted disaster there.
You mentioned nerd. Let me tell you, Don, I know all about being a nerd. So what makes someone want to participate in the 48-hour film competition?
What makes someone want to participate in the 48? I think for us it was the challenge. We went to the screening of the previous year, and I said, I want to do that. So it just seemed like something fun to do and a challenge, and we wanted to make something that would be entertaining for an audience. It was more about the end result being an entertaining film for the audience, and not so much about, us doing this. Even though it was a challenge, we wanted to make something entertaining in that short period of time, and it's great. It was a challenge, and it's crazy.
And Don, your thoughts?
What I always say is it's like swinging like 5 baseball bats and then swinging one. As a filmmaker, you exercise your filmmaking muscles, and you discover things that you may not realize you're capable of in the process. And you learn how to work efficiently. You really learn that you can do these things, and that you could do them at a rate that exceeds what you ever thought you can perform at. So that's what drives you on. That's what moves you on. And when you're making a normal film, it's of great assistance, because it makes you, again, realize that you're capable of doing this stuff but then it's easier because you could take your time at it. You don't have to panic over 48 hours. You could just do it at your own rate or do it at the 48-hour rate, which makes you very efficient. So there you go.
In order to be successful at filming 48-hour films, you need to be efficient. Makes sense to me. So what actually goes into making a good team?
As far as putting a team together, we've been really fortunate in this area as well. Our actors are dedicated and always reliable, as well as very talented. We have a great writing team that we work really well together, and our cinematographer / director is the best, and our editor is amazing. We couldn't ask for anybody better. And some of our team have been friends we've known for many years, and some are people that we've met by going to mixers or working on other local projects, and we've been really lucky with our team thus far.
What goes into a good team is knowing your team. Don't roll the dice. Know your people. Be sure of your people. Understand what their limitations are, what their talents are. Don't fall in love with their potential. Be realistic about the whole thing, because it's got to be, again, very tight and efficient. You can't waste time. Just figure out who the people are, and don't bring people you don't trust in. You've got to understand that it's a big compressed process. In a film like this, you have to take your time, but you have this much time, so you hire them, so to speak, and you bring them in real quickly, and then you've got to have your head about you and be realistic about who these people are. Don't just bring people in at random. And for God's sake, hire good actors. Bottom line. So I'll say that about that.
Do you think I'm a good actor?
No.
What is involved in finding a good actor?
The qualities we look for in our actors is mainly that they can act. We don't hold auditions, although one of our team members, we did find at an audition that the 48 did in 2013 before we did our first one, and he's been solid and a great actor. And what you don't want to do is you can't get an actor that says, oh yes, I will do this as long as I am the lead, because you can't guarantee anybody a role in this. You have to be really careful as far as that's concerned.
As far as the team goes, what is it they have to understand?
That's right. The team has to understand that it's like a big audition. You may get this, you may get that, you may get background, you don't know. So again, it's an entire major filmmaking experience condensed into a short time, and they have to understand. And if they're pros, if they've done this before, if they've been extras on major films, they have to understand they may end up standing over there, they may end up getting coffee, they may end up with a lead role, but you cannot guarantee anyone any of this. And that's sort of how we end up weeding people out, because if they don't understand this, then they're not 48 material. Then they may not be other material, because in the long run, they may not be able to understand that it's a hurry up and wait situation. On the Final Guffaw, we had people waiting most of the day for their scenes. And they need to settle down, calm down, go over there and shut up. Because if they don't, they're just dragging it out. Now, we've been really efficient on the silent film on Grounds for Elimination. We've wrapped at 4 p.m. Well, it was a silent film. But we usually wrap around midnight, around 1, something like that. But the actors have to understand, the crew and the actors have to understand what they're getting into. It's a unique situation. It's an intense, condensed situation. There's no time for personality conflicts or drama or any of that. And I think a lot of teams have learned this via a trial by fire. So
yes,
that's that point.
Leave the drama on the screen.
Yeah.
I know all about drama. So how do you utilize actors?
Yeah, that's always a challenge. One of the things we always take into consideration is keeping our team relatively small as far as our actors go, because we don't want to ask somebody to be in a film and they get there and we have to say, sorry, we have nothing for you to do. We learned that early on, and so we always make it clear that we can't guarantee them anything as far as a major role. And when we start writing, we know who we're working with. So as we're writing the story and coming up with the idea, we think of, who would work best and what role and what can we do with this person. And we really have been successful at ensemble casts so that we're making sure that we're utilizing all our actors and not leaving anybody out.
And a lot of that is up to the writing. And since we handle our own writing and we have a very small writing crew headed by usually Renee, we're able to keep a handle on that and keep the roles aimed at our ensemble in a way that is, again, very efficient. It's very efficient, keeping in mind the characters, keeping in mind the strong points of the actors, keeping in mind story beats and how they would move. Again, and this is in my special effects makeup experience, Michael Westmore, Westmore family, world famous makeup artists. His best advice is stay professional and check your ego at the door. And that's what you have to do with this, or else you fail. Or else you just fail. And you're not going to get through it. And you're going to get into battles with people. And God knows we have had conflicts. But if you keep your focus, if you keep your eye on the goal, and that is getting it done, just getting it shot in the best way possible, you'll achieve that. So it's a real mental exercise. Over everything else, it's mental. So.
Okay, let's change the scene just a bit. Let's talk about the ins and outs of production, specifically the pre-production.
So as far as pre-production goes, getting our team together, having some meetings, assigning some preliminary duties, assigning some basics. We like to stay flexible because, again, if you write certain things in stone, you may put people off. And this has happened in the past. It happened with me. Making sure we have the equipment, locations, meetings, making sure they're available, making sure everybody is solid and available that day for the entire day. And just giving people that may be newer an overview of how everything works. As far as pre-production, locations, getting the locations down, having people brainstorm on locations, having people brainstorm on possibly some potential ideas or potential, I can't say props, but just getting a feel for what may be in the heads of your team, because you are a team. You're not a dictator. You're a team. You become a dictator on that day when you have a director and a producer, just like everyone on any film set. You become, then there's a captain of a ship. But leading up to that, the best idea, can be the best idea, and it doesn't matter where it comes from.
With a short film, I'm sure there has to be a budget. How do you go about securing funds to produce your film?
Funds?
Yeah, funds. We pretty much have, for everyone that we've done so far, it's all been out of our pockets.
Yeah.
Which, it can get a little bit pricey for a film that's only going to be 7 minutes long. A lot of it goes towards some food, breakfasty stuff, but most of it's just entering itself. We've been lucky with having people donate, family members and friends, getting food for, not getting food, but making food, and so that we have stuff there. We always make sure we have coffee and bagels in the morning that, we bring in so that everybody is ready to go. They've been fed first thing in the morning, and that's highly suggest something like that because people don't normally, They just go to a set. They're expecting to be fed, and you have to take care of them. Don't have nothing for your people to eat, like first thing.
Yeah.
And some coffee on
That's
set, because
disrespectful.
that's-
Always respect your cast and your crew and your people. Treat them with respect. Treat them like they are valued, and they'll pay it back. I mean, you don't disrespect the people that are doing this for you. As the team leader, as the producer, as the director, go on any film set, on the Avengers, on Captain America. Craft services is like paradise. They treat the extras like royalty. I mean, to a point, at least in the craft services tent. But I'm telling you, you don't want to just, minimize. You got to treat them. You got to treat them well.
You have to. You have to take care of them to the best of your ability,
and
so that
your budget.
they know.
So,
yeah,
you know.
because you're asking them to give up a whole day at least, maybe
Yeah.
more than that. Sometimes they are giving up an entire day, and a lot of it for them is just waiting for their scene potentially. So you got to take care of them.
Well, Renee, be glad I'm not on your team, because I sure can eat. So exactly what type of equipment is needed?
As far as equipment goes, I mean, now you could shoot on an iPhone. You don't have to rent an Arri Alexa, or you don't have to shoot on a Bolex 16mm film camera, because why? I started out shooting with all my Canon equipment. I have a bunch of Canon DSLRs, and they're more than adequate. Now, it's my favorite little black magic, well-armored pocket cinema camera, which is my new favorite machine of all time for filmmaking. I've shot on with a Sony camcorder, grounds for illumination, which is the results were just fantastic. But if you want things filmic, I mean, DSLR is the way to go if you're getting into this whole thing, because you have got the crop sensor and all that technical stuff, and it's you could defocus your background, etc. But make sure your sound's good. Your sound. Record your sound separately if you're on a DSLR. I use a Tascam D60 or 60D, whatever it is. It's great. I mean, your sound has to be good. That's a major.
I didn't think about that.
That's a major, and have a good mic, and have somebody that knows how to handle it and boom it. And it's that's a whole other thing. But you've got to have your picture and sound and your editing and your image quality and your color timing or color grading and everything up to spec, and not have it look like 1980s video, because that will not fly anymore, because phone video looks better than 1980s video.
And sound, though, I didn't think about that before. You're right. Sound, we've seen, how many have we seen of 48s and other films where it looks really good, the story's, good enough, the actors are carrying it, and the sound will just destroy it.
Don, what about sound?
Sound will kill anything. Bad sound will kill.
Sound.
Not sound, but bad sound will kill any film.
Yes.
Especially when you've got background hiss, or you've got variations, and I mean, there's this is another whole list of a whole litany of things I could go off on. But there's good and there's bad. If it sounds bad to you with your headphones, it's going to sound bad in the final result. Don't expect to clean it all up, because there are only a few guys around that can really do that. So make sure you record your sound. The better you shoot and record everything up front. With if you're using Canon, there are certain proprietary picture styles that you could download if you want to do that, that can assist with your image quality. But sound is real critical, because that can take you out of the moment like that. We've sat there and watched 48s, and all of a sudden somebody's over here, and then and then the background white noise disappears. It's a nightmare. It can be bad. So make sure you've got that at least under control, and it will be good.
I can relate to bad sound and how it completely pulls me out of the film. What about the actual process of a short film?
Probably about the same as most teams. We get all the stuff, we run out of the location, and we get to our writing location, all the required stuff. we meet up with our writing team, usually very small at this point. We used to have a big brainstorming session with the whole crew, which just wasted time. So we started brainstorming among our smaller team. Ended up writing about, it's been regularly till about 1 a.m. And then we shoot out all the, the scripts, email them out to everybody. We make sure that they're still awake and they're ready to get everything. And we shoot it all out about 1 a.m. And then, we email it and then,
We email it and we let them know the exact location where they need to be, what time they need to be there, what their wardrobe. Always remember that. That's something really to always remember is to tell your people what kind of clothes they need to be wearing, because you don't want them to show up in something totally inappropriate. Usually 1 a.m. So from about 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. We're writing, and by 1 a.m. you're getting all kind of punchy, and it's time to stop.
Yeah. Well, generally we're pretty good about that, because writing is one of our, I guess, safe to say, stronger suits in this whole thing, which is good for us. But I mean, as long as the actors understand where they're at that point, and again, it's getting reliable people that will commit to this, and that will be there at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. and that understand that you will treat them well, and they have to deliver whatever it is. And again, checking their egos, at the door, and being part of the major picture. So that's what that's about.
We need to take a quick break. Can you guys stick around a few minutes?
Of course we'll stick around while you take a break. We're here, we're at home. Where else are we going to go? So, break time.
Right after this break, we find out what happens to one's mind when they don't sleep. And now, let's look at the trailer of Trace, where Don plays the doctor.
In our world, our people suffered under General D's regime. We fought and won, but at a great cost. We traveled through dimensions to track General D and his loyals, to stop them from deploying the nanobots, to stop them from making each world to their liking. I came to this Earth to try to stop Agent 577. But I failed. Now, I need allies.
So you knew we were coming?
Oh, yes, my friend, we did. It seems that many of the worlds have changed, and the future's not looking very bright right now.
Doctor, we need your help.
I have heard from other actors and producers and directors that you actually don't sleep for 48 hours during production. Is that true?
So we're sleeping. Yeah. You don't get a lot of sleep. You can, and then it depends on the type of person you are. the first time that we did this, the first couple of times, I got probably 0 sleep. And it wasn't because necessarily I was doing anything. I mean, like at night when you should be sleeping. But I was so pumped out about the whole thing and just thinking about and just, you know, your brain's racing and you're thinking about what you still need to do and is everything going okay, and you know, you just are going, and you know, I had the opportunity to sleep but I just didn't. I just couldn't because I was too just bleh about the whole thing. And then that was probably the first 2 times I didn't get a wink of sleep. And even from the previous night, so it starts on Friday, and I didn't sleep Thursday night because I was excited and I was nervous about finding out the genre. So then we get to find out the genre that we're writing, and then I get uptight and I'm thinking about the next day. So the advice as far as sleep goes is know that you can, and if there's space at a time when you do it.
Yeah. The first time I wasn't shooting it myself. I should have. I would have been less panicky. I trusted that to someone else and the editing of it. And I did not sleep. It was too nerve-wracking. With Uncivilized Servant, I started shooting, and we had our wonderful editor, and he was editing which is the best possible world of all worlds, is to edit while you were shooting. Here, take my card. Here, please take my card again. Swap off the cards, and then just lay it into the timeline. Final Cut Pro X is our poison of choice. We just lay it in, and it renders, and it's done. Virtually done. We had Grounds for Elimination scored by 11 p.m. Saturday night. And the other ones, Guffaw was done, it was done virtually before Sunday. Uncivilized Servant was, I had to go shoot some stuff on Sunday. Some background, or rather some like second unit stuff. But sleep, you learn, go in with the expectation you will get 0 sleep. And if you are able to get any sleep, then appreciate it, because you'll be able to squeeze a little bit of sleep in, and you'll relish it even that much more if you are able to get sleep.
Yes.
And chances are you will be able to,
yes.
but don't expect to be able to get
don't
any.
Expect to, but you probably can.
Learn how to drink coffee, because that's a valuable skill. But just go in and don't be afraid of it. Just understand that once the adrenaline gets going, it'll pull you through. It's like riding a wave through the whole thing. One thing leads to another, and if your team is solid, if your team is great, if you've got cooperation, if you've got great friends, then you'll make it through, and you won't even think of sleep until you're really... And then when you want to sleep, after you drop it off on Sunday, you can't sleep because you'll be thinking about how great your film is and how great it came out.
Right.
So...
And
think about sleeping maybe on Tuesday.
Yes. But again, as you said, having your editor on site is really great. And in our case, and again, we're so fortunate, our editor is one of our writers. So he's on set, he knows the story at the same time because he's one of our writers. So that's such a benefit that we shoot it, our editor's on site. He is also one of the writers, so it just is for us, it's a very smooth process.
Yes. Hopefully. Always.
Usually. It's been.
Yeah. We've done it enough.
Yeah.
And what about paperwork?
There are permissions for locations.
Yes.
That is something that involves legwork. You have to think about that during the whole process, getting all the sign-offs of the actors and of music and of locations, which is a necessary evil for the 48.
Yes.
That's paperwork and legwork that you cannot forget to embark upon.
Paperwork is important for the 48. Yes.
That's the other thing that is not on this list. Paperwork.
So sometimes when you can't sleep, you could be working on some of the paperwork because you have to know.
It's always
you have to
there.
go
Bring it
over
with
to
you.
list it,
Bring it with you.
And the forms are in a way it's good because you have to list off your cast and crew, and then you can check off that you got all the cast and crew's
Right.
permission forms, and it's time consuming. It does take a little time to do that. So yes, definitely paperwork.
Now, guys, I can imagine that there is a ton of footage. You know, you're what, hours upon hours. And what do you do with all that raw footage?
Okay, so we've got all this footage. Well, the footage, if you're lucky enough or wise enough or fortunate enough to have an editor that is on site, it's all in process as you're shooting. And if you're smart, you just cross off the shots on your script. You shoot your script. Once you're done writing and the actors have their stuff down, for me it's just a matter of shooting the script. It's like, let's shoot this, cross it off, shoot this, and then I don't slate. There's no time to slate. Who needs slating? We know what we shot. We're all there. We know what we shot. I'm not going to be announcing, oh, this is take 20. No. You shoot it. Usually it's the last take with a safety, big deal. And you got it. And if you're recording sound separately, you're starting and stopping your sound recorder, your audio device at the same time as you're stopping your camera. Make sure your sound person is doing that. If you're doing it yourself, you just push 2 buttons like I was on Sympathy. I'm like pushing 2 buttons. So, big deal. Just push 2 buttons. Yeah. So, you cross your stuff off, and then it's, if you have an editor doing that. If you don't have an editor, I don't know what to tell you. If you're going to do it all later, then it's going to take a little bit of time. What can I say?
We haven't experienced that, so
no, we haven't.
I can't give really advice on that because we've never done it that way. Well, okay, the first time we did it.
The first time we did.
The guy that did the
topside on the
cinematography also was the editor. So.
And we wound up in this living room with his Mac, and which kept malfunctioning.
Yes.
And when he imported everything from the cards to the Mac, it assigned these hypertext random numbers to everything.
Yes.
And all the cuts, all the takes were out of order. That was horrific. That was terrifying. It's amazing we even got anything done.
Yes.
Because I had no control over it. I like to have control over what I'm putting out, what I'm doing, because it's all up here. It's all like, I have it there, and I know what I want, and I know what should go where, and what takes are the good takes. That wasn't a luxury then.
That one we handed in with 4 minutes to spare.
Yep.
Since then, we've always been like way on time or ahead of time.
With the last one, I think we were second. Or no,
yes,
with Final Guffaw, we were second to hand in because we were just lazy and we didn't want to rush.
Well, because we were done, and but the very first one,
that was rough. Burned one disc, and then also look at the rules, look at the sheets, make sure you've got the
line correct.
The line correct.
Yes.
The prop correct and the character correct. No, mainly I think the line correct.
The line.
To the letter, the line has to be correct. That's all I'll say about that, because it has to be correct. Yes. There is no wiggle room there.
Yes.
Although there might have been wiggle room. I don't know. Not for us, but I don't know.
No,
maybe there might. I don't know.
There is no wiggle room, and that's a good thing, because there have been times when we have shot a scene that the scene that we shoot using the line, we have shot 5 or 6 times.
Oh, yeah.
Just to make sure that the line was right.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that the line was right. That is if this is for advice, that is a big piece of advice. Make sure you get the line verbatim. And
read your delivery rules, because this was a few years ago, because we delivered standard, not Blu-ray, we just delivered standard DVD, 720p, which is a big mistake. But we didn't even have the ability to burn Blu-ray, and we could have done on a jump drive in 2013.
Yeah,
we didn't, so quality was not where it should have been. So that was a chink in the armor back then. But the product, we did with Topside was just great. So,
if you never saw it,
you should.
You should. It's really good.
Other than that, I think we're about done. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a wrap. That is a wrap. Next time on That's a Wrap, that's a wrap. Last time on That's a Wrap, that was a wrap.